Hi guys and welcome back to the kingdom. I hope you guys had positive and productive weeks this week. So this week we are talking about bad guys because someone has to make a mess that your main characters are going to clean up. Now, I absolutely love writing good villains and antagonists, and no, those two aren't necessarily the same thing. But a really good villain can really reflect how good your story is. Because we all know that a good villain breeds good conflict, and as such, without one, you might not get the other. So it's key to get it absolutely right. So let's do this. So let's jump straight into things. My first really big tip is more kind of like a pleading request, but please develop your villain as thoroughly as you develop your other characters. A two-dimensional villain is flat, it's unbelievable, they'll do the same thing over and over again, they won't learn from their mistakes, and they're evil for the sake of being evil, which is just boring. That's almost the worst part about it. That villain is just boring. Your bad guy is as much a real character as the rest of the characters in your book, even if they don't get as much screen time. As such, they deserve the same amount of attention and development. Think about it this way. Your main character is obviously the star of the show, but your bad guy? That's first runner-up. A tip to try and help you manage to do this is to look through your story and the events of your story through your villain's point of view. When you write a scene or you write a plot, flip the perspective and look at it through your villain's eyes. You'll probably all have heard the phrase that a villain thinks they're the hero of their own story, and that is absolutely true. None of us in society believe that we are bad people, but sometimes we make questionable decisions. And even if your villain isn't a moustache-twiddling, cold-blooded, super evil king, whatever you're going for, they may be a misunderstood anti-villain or an antagonist. Either way, they still think that they are doing the right thing. It'll really help you to flesh out those characters and those individuals, and as such, it'll actually help you raise the stakes in your book, because suddenly the stakes have this flavour of reality in them. My second tip is to please give them a worthy agenda. Now, that's not to say that they have to think that they're doing something good. They absolutely don't. They just have to think that what they're doing is worth the trouble they're going through. And there are a lot of really messed up reasons to fight for something. You've got God complexes and narcissism and pride and ego and fear. Fear is a really big one. Is your villainous king waging war because they're scared of losing their throne, they're making a grab for power, they want to return the empire to the glory days of old? What is their reason, and is that reason worth fighting for? Also, please don't think that just saying they're a sociopath or a psychopath gets rid of this need for motivation. Every action that a human ever conducts has a motivation. Being a sociopath or a psychopath doesn't make you evil. Everyone needs a motive to do something. Now, done well, these traits can be really, really interesting parts of a character, but that on their own doesn't negate the need for them to have a motive. Everything needs a motive. Think about it in real life too. You go to the restroom to relieve yourself. Why is that? Well, so you don't wet yourself in public and suffer public humiliation. For goodness sake, you breathe in order to not pass out. So every single action that a human will ever commit will always have a motive, so make sure that the motive is a good one. Your reader absolutely does not need to agree with the motives, but they should definitely be able to understand them and make sure that they are really clear. Number three, please make sure that your villain actually does bad stuff. If all your readers hear about are rumours about how terrible this person is, when it comes to the final fight where you're actually confronting the villain, it's probably going to feel really bland because your readers don't care. Your characters need to either directly or indirectly feel the consequences of this person's bad actions. You need to prove to your reader that this bad person is actually bad and there is a reason why we are going up against him. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to expose who your villain is in the middle of the story. Absolutely not. You can have them quiet, you can have them hidden, you can have them far away. But your main characters need to feel the effects of their actions, either through henchmen or some other convoluted route. People need to feel the negative consequences of this person making their decisions. I have read a few manuscripts where the mission of this group of people is to go and stop bad guy number one. But all of their obstacles that they get to bad guy number one have got nothing to do with that bad guy. And as such, when it came to that final fight, I honestly didn't really get or care about what happened because I hadn't experienced any of the bad things this person was supposedly doing. And my number 4 tip for writing a really good villain is please give them a worthy backstory. Now, nobody is born evil. Now, we could get into the nurture versus nature argument all you want, but let's assume that nobody is born evil. But they can be born into really rubbish circumstances. What was the society that they grew up in? What was their culture? What are the events that shaped your bad guy's point of view? Because let's be real, nobody is born twirling their moustache and stroking a hairless cat like full Bond villain mode. That just doesn't happen. So give them a worthy backstory that is relevant to why they have their viewpoints. Why are they holding on to their agenda so badly? Why are they gripping for power? Why are they gripping for that sense of belonging? Why are they so scared? Is he fighting back against someone that he sees as evil? Was he beaten as a child and vowed never to be powerless again? What are the reasons behind his worthy agenda? What is his backstory? And number 5, please avoid cliches and use vivid descriptions. If you can, please avoid the classic Bond villain descriptions or one-liners. If you write cold dead eyes, I hate to break it to you, but it has been done before. Remember, the villain is the second star of the show, so you need to spend as much time describing them, spending as much time building up them as a person as you would the rest of your main characters. Avoid the, I have caught you and I'm going to kill you, but now I am stalling with a super long monologue cliche. And if your villain is uttering the words, so we meet again, please reconsider your choices. Anyway, that's all you've got from me this week. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. The little button is down below. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment section or hit me up on any of my social media platforms, which should be appearing on the screen at some point now. I have really enjoyed today's topic. I really love fleshing out villains. There is so much I could talk about. Whittling it down to just 5 major points was really difficult, to be honest with you, because I feel like these points are so big that you could then go into even more detail on each one of these individual points. And in fact, next week we're talking about how to kill off your villain, because I think killing off your villain is actually a huge topic in its own, separate to killing off other main characters. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I'm HD King, and I'll see you next time.